there is something greater than Jonah here. There is something greater than Solomon here. One thinks of the way in which our Protestant brethren approach what is actually an invalid presence and communion, at least on the sacramental level, with great respect, whereas we oftentimes think little about what we're doing at times if we're not careful. And one wonders whether we would have far more profit and grace if we were to exploit what we actually have in our hands to the full with careful preparation. For we behave in a way which is inferior to that in which our Protestant brethren behave at times in our places of worship. For instance, in getting used to the tabernacle and carrying on conversations before it, loud voices in the house of God. We have become glib and casual. Because the Protestants don't have the same structure, they have to interiorize and fabricate, as it were, a structure made of another kind of reverence. We tend to take it for granted, and there is a danger in that. The ideal is to have both in good equilibrium. It is not enough to say and do. One has to engage 100%. And the renewal in the council years was in view of that. Fewer words, simpler gestures, but each one felt and meant to the full. Talking to a friend who is chaplain to more than one hospital actually, he was saying how miracles are constantly happening. It was his experience that God was hugely active in the sacramental sphere. Things happened all the time in the anointing of the sick. We have it. We have it far more than our Protestant brethren, but we don't engage enough. Pentecostals, when they're praying for healing, really pray with all their heart and mean every word. We should do the same, whether our prayer is being invented as we go along, or whether we are using what is before us, prescribed. For it is not either or, but both and, that we can do. For what they have, we have also, and more. We need to learn to pray with all our heart and go also into this mode of prayer which is personalized, for we can all pray with each other and for each other, and it is heard by the God that we adore and who wants to be adored in spirit and in truth. Having said that, we do have more. There is more here than Solomon, more here than the human, specifically in our Catholic life. We have the positive will of God. We are doing what He wants, and the project He has is the one that we're carrying out. In the last war, conversation was going on one time between two chaplains, one Catholic and the other Anglican. The Anglican approached his fellow chaplain with this request: could he make use of the same tabernacle and put a ciborium of Anglican hosts in there as well? And the Catholic chaplain, who was actually open-minded but knew the difference and the importance of the difference, replied without hesitation, one doesn't mix dead cartridges with live bullets. And even the devil only wants Catholic hosts. He knows the difference. That's interesting. Therefore, it would make sense that he would attack the Catholic Church and the Catholic sacraments more than any other, because they are the real nuisance and the real problem. Why should we have less awareness than the devil? Perhaps because the devil wants to use us to do his work for him. It has come out in exorcism that he pushed many things in the years following the council. Just be aware of this. For actually, one of the things that has done most damage to the Church, and what actually the Vatican has forbidden, is the use of lay people to do what only priests should be doing normally. The normally is the bit that's forgotten. Exception has become a new norm, and it is part of a huge attack in which perhaps we are unwittingly a part. Esto nobis pregustatum, morte